Hi everyone, I've been in full Christmas crafting mode this week, and today I'm making what I think are the cutest little festive fridge magnets. I wanted something sparkly, easy and fun to make, and I think these came out so adorable. So all I did was I used a round mold. It is flat on the bottom and it has a lip going around it because I thought that would be quite nice to put the UV DTF stickers into the recess. So here I am using my UV resin just to seal the base so that the UV DTF stickers have got a nice shiny smooth surface to stick to. So I obviously waited for these to dry nicely and made sure that the moisture was all out of them before I started to work with them. And here you can see I have my UV lamp. I have two. I have a mini over the top UV lamp and I have the lamp that's on the right hand side. It's actually a nail lamp, but it's nice and strong as well, and it's got 4 different settings. So that is what I use mostly for my bigger items. Here you can see I'm just putting the UV resin on and making sure that it's nice and smooth. This UV resin, it does self-level if you've got enough on. If you don't have enough, then obviously it ends up having little patches, but if you make sure that you put enough on, it does self-level. So here I am obviously, just zooming in a bit so that you can see them nicely. And you can see how nice and shiny and level already that UV resin is. And I'm just going to pop them under the UV light. I did it for a couple of minutes, which obviously I didn't leave in. Here are the stickers that I chose. They came in a big pack. I think there's 5 and there's 20 in each pack. 21 in each pack actually, and these are ones that I chose because I thought they would fit nicely on the inside of the actual little fridge magnets. So those are really sweet. Like I said, it's Christmas vibes here now. We don't do Halloween very much here. It's not a huge big thing here, so I'm already starting to do my Christmas crafting. So you will be seeing quite a lot of Christmas crafting stuff in between other little items that I make. So here now the UV resin is dry and I am going to start now putting on my UV DTF stickers. Like I showed in the intro, I have got some really nice strong magnets. They can probably hold up to 5 papers on your fridge, so they're nice and strong. They could probably actually hold more. They are really nice, strong magnets. I'm not sure if I said stickers or magnets. I can't remember now, but I meant magnets if I said stickers. Yes, I can't stand fridge magnets that have these pokey little magnets on the back of them that when you put a piece of paper, it slides down to the bottom of your fridge. So I got some really nice strong magnets because I prefer to have a magnet that will hold a good few pieces of paper or even a piece of card. So that's what I decided I would use. Here I'm just making sure that I get the UV DTF sticker pressed in nicely. Even though they weren't in the corners, I was just making sure that they stuck really nicely. And these are really easy to use. I'm sure most of you have used these UV DTF stickers. Once they're on, and it's very, very difficult to get them off. So you've got to make sure that you do them in the right place in the first time you try, because once they're on, there's not much chance of you getting them off. You have to scrape them off, and then unfortunately that damages the bottom of your item that you're doing. So like I said, I just chose some nice Christmassy vibe stickers to go on. I did do another 6 green ones, which I will be showing later on in the video, but I thought I would just show doing the goldy. It's all I did in this mold was I used normal gypsumite, and then I just added some gold paste. It's actually craft paint, and it just gives it a bit of a glitter and a bit of a color to it, but I wanted them quite light. The green ones are a little bit darker, and normally with your stickers you don't really want it too dark a color unless there's a lot of white in the stickers, because otherwise the background being dark, you don't see the writing on the stickers or the picture on the stickers very well. So the green ones are a little bit darker, but they are mostly just they're little gnomes, so there wasn't much writing. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them have got writing on, if I can remember correctly, but they mainly just little gnomes. So I thought that the green would be fine for that because it doesn't take away from the writing. And here I'm just removing the top part of the sticker because they are individually cut out and they don't have any borders on them or anything. This one was giving me a little bit of a hard time trying to grab the edge on them, because I did cut them almost to fit the circle inside so that they would stick nicely. But once you've got an edge up, they are reasonably easy to pull off. I really enjoy using these DTF stickers. They are really, they're so nice to use, and they stick, like I said, they stick so nicely. They don't lift or anything like that. So here I again have just sped it up a bit because it does take a couple of minutes to get them all off. But I thought those sayings were really sweet as well. There are some with baby, it's cold outside, and unfortunately where we are, it's not cold outside at Christmas. So I might use them for something, but on these I thought I would only use ones that are relevant to us and not cold weather. So here again now I am just sealing them with a top coat of the UV resin. Again, this is just your normal UV resin, and I just put it on with a brush. And also, again, just a quick tip, don't forget to clean your brush off after every time you have used it, because if it's anywhere near your UV light, or if you're working in the sunlight, your resin is going to set on your paintbrush. So make sure that you just clean it off with a paper towel and a bit of alcohol in between, or I do it in between each layer, because like I said, I do put them under the UV light for a couple of minutes just to make sure that they seal properly. So the paintbrush does sit out a bit when you are waiting for the UV resin to set under the UV light. So I tend to make sure that I clean it after every step that I do. And here I've just got a piece of it's actually a baking sheet, and it's a Teflon baking sheet that I've cut into pieces so that my resin pieces don't, or the resin on the pieces doesn't stick to the board or whatever you are using. You could use a piece of silicone, that would also work, but I just used a piece of my Teflon sheeting, which doesn't stick to that. So once you put them on, even if you've got a little bit that is run down the sides, or it won't stick to the Teflon sheet. So they are already looking really sweet, I thought. And I'm just going around the edges, like I said, just so that they are also sealed. I'm not one for gloves, but obviously if you're using resin, you have to use gloves. Sometimes I don't bother, because if I'm just doing a little section on something, I don't really use my gloves. I am in quite a well ventilated area, so I don't always use gloves. I know I'm naughty. If I'm just doing a little section, I don't use gloves. But on this, obviously, it was a bigger project and there was more chance of me getting resin all over my fingers. So I was using my gloves. Now here I am just going around the sides again, just to make sure that they are sealed. And this was the fun part. I was getting the edges, and this was the fun part, dipping them in the glitter. This was the fun part. I was so happy with how it looked when it came out of that glitter. I thought, oh my goodness, that is so pretty. For something that's so simple, I got so excited, because it's amazing how it goes from that plain little circle to having that beautiful glitter edge to it. So here again, I'm just going around all of them just to seal the edges with the UV and then putting them into the glitter. And then obviously again, they were all going under the light for a good few minutes. This one I used my little overhead. It is small. It's actually very tiny. When I ordered it, I didn't realize it was actually that small. But it works perfectly fine, because you just rotate. That's all I do. I just rotate. I could have done it in my big one, but this one has got 2 layers that you can actually use, top and bottom. So I was just rotating top and bottom and making sure that the sides were done as well, because you've got to make sure that top, bottom and sides are all nicely sealed. And then obviously with the UV resin, I like to leave them for at least a day without fiddling too much with them, so that the UV resin hardens nicely and you don't get finger marks on it once you touch it. So I normally just leave them overnight or to the next day, and then I can touch them. This was a little bit fiddly because I didn't want to touch the UV resin once I had done the edge. Here and there I had to just top up if there was a section that wasn't as thick as the rest of it. But all in all, I think they actually picked up the glitter really nicely and made a perfect little sealed lip all the way around. This mold is actually one of my molds, and it really is sweet. It would make a nice bag tag as well, which I might actually do some Christmas bag tags. but I think it's a really cute little mold, and it is ideal for, like I said, fridge magnets or bag tags or key rings, something like that. You could do them in in resin, in your epoxy resin. But like I said, I did them with my gypsumite, because the gypsumite is perfect for your fridge magnets as well. So here I am just making sure that they are all done nicely, and these were the original ones I was explaining at the beginning of the video, the green ones that I did. They basically were the little gnomes, and like I said, there were a couple that had words on them, but the words are quite big, like your joy and your love. And even the Let It Snow, it's quite visible. So here I am sealing the top of the glitter rim that I did with a coat of UV resin, because you don't want the glitter raw, because otherwise here and there you're going to get glitter on your fingers. So that's why I've got the big brush there, and I was just brushing off the excess of the glitter that was on the edges, and then sealing it with the UV resin, just to make sure that they were nice and sealed. And here now this was the next day, I think, and I'm about to put my magnets on. Now this is how strong these magnets are. If I slide that batch of magnets forward, you'll see how that magnet is that far away, and it's already pulling together. So these magnets are really, really strong. I got them locally from our P&A. They are a little stationery shop, but they do sell some crafts as well. Not very many crafts, but they do have the odd things. But yes, I got these magnets from them, and I thought they would be ideal because they are nice and strong. And like I said, I prefer to have a nice strong magnet on my fridge magnets, because you want them to hold stuff. You don't want them just to be a display. I mean, they can be a display. They don't have to hold anything. I have to say most of my fridge magnets are just stuck on the fridge. They don't hold much at all, because first of all, most of the magnets are terrible, and secondly, I just use them as decorative. So I think these would also just be nice to be decorative, but I did want them to be able to hold at least a piece of cardboard. So here I obviously left these to dry. That is cyanoacrylate glue, so it does cure quite quickly. It does dry quite quickly. So there are my magnets that are attached to the back of my fridge magnets. And that's it. There they are, my sparkly little Christmas fridge magnets. I absolutely love how they turned out, and they'd make such a lovely stocking stuffer or stocking filler if that's what you would like to use them for, or also little handmade gifts. If you enjoyed this project, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more DIY Christmas crafts. Like I said, I will be doing a lot more in the next coming weeks. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and have a great one.